Kanye Omari West. Okay, so we're about to take a deep dive, unpack, dig it up, rebury it. Fuck it, we're just gonna go there because this has been such a complex, and I don't think people realize that this situation with Kanye West and his thoughts and free thoughts and streams of consciousness that he just been fucking regurgitating all over the place has been sparking some really important conversations within the Black community. So before we get into everything that I think personally, objectively, we need to see this for what it is so that we can use it to progress in some way, shape, or form. It would be a damn shame for us to take this opportunity to just cancel another celebrity because they said some dumb shit. He's not saying some dumb shit. He's just full of shit. Let me explain. So, Kanye West last week sometime began tweeting. He hasn't been on Twitter in like a year, and this is what he does. He follows only Kim Kardashian on Twitter, and he got all these 1,000 million followers, and he only tweet every once in a while. So when he comes back, it's an event. So started tweeting. It was so many, like it was like 5 days it was a lot of tweets that he was going through. It was streams of consciousness. He was just saying shit. Just saying shit. But there was a reason. It was strategy. So he began, like, the gist of the first couple of tweets was some about he liked how Candace Owens thinks. Candace Owens is a Trump supporter, I'm assuming. She's some kind of Republican conservative, but she's a Black woman. And she says things like, Black Lives Matter, you're a bunch of whiners. You need to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and stop whining about black. She's one of those. And that's one of the most recent things that she said. Kanye West just tweeted, I like the way she thinks. People got the fuck mad. In addition to that, he's also tweeting that he has albums coming out. June 7th, mine coming out. May, whatever, Me and Cudi, Tiana Taylor, Pusha T. Like, all these albums he's announcing coming out. So people are getting excited. But he's also saying other dumb shit that's also making people mad. So he's garnering a lot of attention. A lot of promotion. A very Kardashian format. In my opinion. It's just like we gotta do something raunchy. And that's what he has. Because nobody wants to see Kanye West's ass. So he gotta show his ass. By tweeting all this shit that he knows is controversial. Especially with his own people. And so he's tweeting about that. But he's also saying stuff like, we need to start thinking freely. We need to stop being controlled by these systems that are designed to fucking stop your thought and say what you feel and stop thinking about stuff before you just say how you feel. And he's saying a bunch of stuff that's true, that makes sense, and to a person that has elevated to a place where they think about stuff like that. They already know that. But it can be enlightening for some people, but it also can get lost in translation when you also saying shit like, you would have voted for Donald Trump, you support Donald Trump, his ideas, whatever, we need to love everybody. Like, he's just wrapping a bunch of truths up with a bunch of bullshit, all to promote the shit that he has coming up. People always anticipate Kanye and the good music artists, but for some reason, Kardashian-wise, he feel like he needs to stir up all this promo. I don't know if the sales wasn't that good. Pablo Torre seemed to do well despite the rants, but I guess something was going on. And keep in mind, the whole time he's making music and working on music, he's also working on clothes, he's working on fashion, really, really dedicated and deep into the fashion industry and just all that. But again, at the very same time, he's pissing everybody off because he's saying this Trump shit. He's aligning himself with Trump in a time where shit is really fucking sensitive. Like, you just said a name and people are triggered. because people is getting kicked out the country. Now, granted, but people have always been getting deported. Obama had a whole, like 11 million people deported. But Trump is actively threatening that. Like, that shit was under the radar. You get caught when you get caught. Whatever type of shit that Obama had going on. But Trump is actively, like, trying to displace people that have been here for years. Families that have been here for years. When immigration shouldn't even be in the middle of the list. That's none of our biggest issues. We got way bigger fish to fry, but they're worried about immigration. That's that conservative racist bullshit that makes people of color uncomfortable. Kanye knows that. So we think. But, so you got Trump, he clearly a white supremacist. He said that the neo-Nazis had good people on their side, as if to compare, or they're bad people on both sides, or good people on both sides, or whatever he said, as if to compare the neo-Nazis and stuff that was at that Charleston rally to the people that were there in protest of them. Now, granted, they did have a permit to do their white supremacy shit, and they didn't, but once you got a permit, it's open for people to come to. But these motherfuckers came here for the violence. These just came there to protest hate. So basically, love is what we want, not hate, not the shit that y'all spewing and talking about. Y'all talking about white power and fucking white genocide and all that dumb shit that just it's just fucking fake news. All of it. All of your complaints is fake news. But, so given all of that, niggas specifically are highly fucking sensitive because we have deep-rooted generational trauma as it relates to white people and they bullshit. And here you got a white motherfucker saying the bullshit that we thought was eradicated at least 50 years ago. We thought that some of this shit wasn't acceptable. But here you got it. He's saying all the shit that we thought was just. So we real sensitive because we just got done being slaves. Just got out of Jim Crow. And here you go talking about we gotta love on Trump. At the same time tweeting shit like Obama was in Chicago and was the president for 8 years and didn't do shit for Chicago as the president of the United States. But at the same time, you're talking about we need to lead with love with Trump, the one who is heightening our anxiety as a people. But you talk shit about the black president that was the most diplomatic that you'll ever find. He was so fucking peaceful with the other side, and they met him with nothing but obstruction. Nothing. They didn't want to do nothing with Obama. He fucking had to. Obamacare is a fucking miracle. And they trying to get rid of that shit. They're trying to get rid of that shit. But that's what you criticize while also saying, I'm leading with love with this one. Why wouldn't you lead with love and understanding for Obama? Despite what you don't see the love in what he did. You don't see what. This is why I say full of shit. Because pissing y'all off was promotion. Capitalizing and exploiting your rage was promotion for the shit that he got going on. But as he's fucking doing the dumb shit, he's also learning what he didn't know. And that's the important part of what I'm trying to say here. Kanye West is not stupid. He's very creative and very crafty, but also very calculated. But at the same time, very emotional. And that's a whole lot to deal with. That's why people say he's a genius, because somehow he's all those things. And typically that shit wouldn't match. And typically that shit wouldn't mesh. No person is all those fucking things. No person can be all those things. No person can be great and also be super fucking emotional and also be super fucking enlightened, but also be super fucking out of touch. Like, but Kanye is that. And that's why this shit is so complex. That's why we're having conversations as black people we haven't had, because we are groupthink for the most part. That's another thing that he was saying in his tweets. We're, you know, we need to get out of this groupthink mentality because we've been basically brainwashed to be that way. Groupthink. Groupthink is different from community. We can still be a healthy, functioning community without all being just blind to the bullshit. So that's why we can have these conversations, because the wool was pulled off of a lot of different people and their opinions and stuff. Because you got some black people that's like, I understand what Kanye is saying. He's a genius. And then you got other people saying, no, fuck that. This is bullshit, because we cancel every fucking body else. When they get to talking this dumb shit, Chrisette Michele, Stacey Dash, fucking, who else is a coon? Steve Harvey, the one met with him, the football player. Like, we cancel them. We throw them to the wall, whatever. Even if it's not a permanent cancel, you're fucking on timeout until you do something, you explain something, you do something. But with Kanye, people are having a debate. Like, wait a minute. I understand what he's saying. All these people are coming out the woodworks that weren't there, you know, at a time where we're having marches, about Black Lives Matter marches. You don't have those dissenting views. You don't have those devil's advocates that are going to balance some of this shit out so that we are a more powerful force. That's the shit. That's what they're getting from what he's saying. But what he's saying is a bunch of bullshit that he hasn't thought through. He's just saying shit. It's promotion, shock value, wrapped up in some actual deep shit that we all need to hear and that he needs to say, but it's not being thought through. Everything's not being considered. He doesn't know what he doesn't know. Kanye's far too out of touch to be leading with just what's in his own head. Like, you are a rich fucking Calabasas living ass nigga. You are speaking from a Calabasas ass nigga fucking perspective. Yeah, you from Chicago, but art school Chicago. Yeah, you know, you was woke back in a time where you was still coming up. But now you are way too out of touch. In your mind, your heart, your whatever, your spirit is aligned with fashion. Because he's too far gone into the fashion for him to be in touch with the average fucking person and perspective. And that's what's wrong with everything that he says. He's not thinking it through at a level of deeper understanding. He's not familiarizing himself with other perspectives. He's not stepping outside of himself. You know, then he gets to releasing these songs. Now, I like the Poop Diddy Scoop one. I liked it because it proved to me that I was right when I said he's full of fucking shit. He's doing all of this to troll us. He's trolling us with all these random ass, because he's not thinking of, like, the Trump shit. You're not thinking that through. The Trump shit and then the criticizing Obama shit. You're not thinking that through. The things that you're saying about Trump and then the thing that doesn't align with each other. That doesn't make sense, that you're criticizing Obama for making it through 8 years, and you're talking about you're going to lead with love with Trump, who is barely fucking going to make it to the end of his first term because of so much corruption and bullshit. And he's unaware of all of that. He said he just started watching CNN like yesterday or some shit. Like, out of touch is the focus here. Out of touch is the problem. And that's the biggest issue. That's the biggest flaw with Kanye and his fucking stream of consciousness, is that it's still genius. It's the same genius conscious of College Dropout, but it's been like he's out of touch. He's a rich fucking white person now, essentially. Like, everything around him, all the people around him, the culture around him, it's all white people shit. Like rich white people shit. Privileged shit. So he doesn't know a lot of the shit that he's talking about. He's so deep into the fucking inner workings of balancing all those different character traits that I told you about, being emotional, being smart, being creative, being just everything at the same time. He's so wrapped up in that, engulfed in that, he doesn't even, everything outside of that is ridiculous to him, because why aren't y'all in my head? Like, what? But it just don't align with the reality of the majority of people. Like this recently on TMZ, talking about some this is exactly what he said. Whew. It's hot in here. But this is what he said. He said 400 years of slavery, and all of us, that sounds like a choice to me. Then he said something along the lines of, you know what, I don't even want to have this conversation about slavery or the Holocaust or nothing like that, because it's too exclusive to groups of people. I'm going to say prison is a choice. And then he started going into like mental prison. But that fell on deaf ears once you said slavery looked like a choice. Because you fucked up when you said that, Kanye. And again, if people had listened to the rest of what he said, y'all would have heard him fucking jumble the shit and be like, what I'm talking about is your mind was locked up. But him calling it a choice, regardless of if it's physical or mental captivity, that's not really a choice when, given the trauma of what happened, you get captured from somewhere, brought somewhere else with no language, no culture, no freedom, no nothing. And then these people acclimate you to their society by way of fucking servitude. Then you have to learn their customs and learn their language. But everything, generations into this shit, everybody's just like, this is the way life is. Okay, this is what it is. Some people, a lot of people, thought, this ain't right. Especially when people start getting away, they start hearing about other freedom, going north and all that other shit. Like, yeah, but slowly but surely, it took that long for them to break from that mental prison. Even a little bit, because yeah, a lot of us are still in it today. But look at what happened. Like, we gotta fucking all together decide that we're gonna fucking push through after being displaced and fucking violently brutalized for generations. Generations. That shit lasts up until today. All black people need fucking therapy. We need to figure out what the fuck is going on, because we are slowly but surely breaking out of that prison, that fucking mental prison. But being in it wasn't a choice. Yeah, you could have chosen death, but every living organism has an innate fucking just nature to self-preserve, self-preservation. Like every fucking thing is going to try to live. To an extent. Yeah, some people jumped off the ships. Yeah, some people did all this shit. But collectively, we wanted to preserve, because you have kids and shit. And you could have told everybody, hey y'all, I think we should just jump off the ship and say fuck all this shit. But when are you gonna, at what point do you think to do that, when this is what's happening to you at all times? And then you're born into some shit like this, where it's like, okay, so this is how we live. When do you, there are mental prisons now that we don't even understand why we're in. Why do we use money? Why do we allow them to control life and natural earthly resources with money? That's a mental prison that we still fucking falling into. Because that's the beginning of the important parts of history that we can remember or whatever the fuck. That's how the energy has been on earth amongst humans. That's what the fuck. So now it's a choice, because you had people agreeing with Kanye, and I don't even think they fully understood where he was coming from with the mental aspect of it, because you had people talking about the physical aspect of why we didn't get together and fucking all revolt against, because it was more of a, then you got these false narratives, it was more of us than them. Wow. And then even if that's so, what do you do with guns and different weapons that you ain't never seen or heard of, and you trying to live and keep your babies alive? But I don't think y'all understand that. Like, I don't think y'all really understand what that is, because y'all not slaves. Y'all have the luxury of being the later generations. You have the luxury of being just in the mental prison. They was in the mental and physical. And you ain't even fully out the mental. So shut the fuck up talking about this choice shit. But the important part of it is that we having a conversation, because there's a lot of people that need to know what they need to know. And they need to know what they don't know. And they need to respect that they don't know it. They need to be willing to consider perspectives in order to progress, because that's the only way that we've been able to. And it still is a clusterfuck, because there's so much generational trauma. Slavery was 400 years, but how long it take to get out? What the fuck? How long it take to fix 400 years of shit, when literally Emmett Till, like, my granny was alive when that happened. Like, alive and knew what the fuck was going on when that happened. That wasn't nothing, but the lady that fucking lied on him is still alive. But it's a choice. Y'all are some fucking pretentious ass niggas. Some uppity ass niggas. But we having a conversation. But we just need to, we need to understand perspective. We need to understand that there are things we don't understand, and then try to. Then you had, at points, Chance the Rapper coming in talking about black people don't have to be Democrats, like a fucking day. Like, that's not even what we're talking about. Kanye never said he was no Republican. He talking about Trump. We know Trump is a different type of, that's not no politician. It's not no Republican. It's a fucking rich ass privileged white man who privileged his way into the White House. And Kanye adores that, because his stupid ass being president means that Kanye's stupid ass can be president. And I say that because full of shit reason number 3 or whatever I'm on. Kanye. Because again, by way of the T.I. interview that he did on the Breakfast Club, and the Charlemagne interview that he did, both times, and even T.I. confirmed, Kanye is dead serious about a presidential run. And that's where I begin to say, Kanye, you're full of shit. Because a presidential run benefits nobody else but you in that scenario. So you can do what Trump did. You can fucking bring publicity and shit to your name. Yes, you say you want to do a bunch of service acts, you know, once you get to where you want to be, but you can do that without doing that. Your mind is, you're so far inside your mind, you don't know what the fuck is going on with nobody, nowhere. Every time you talk to a nigga outside of your circle of yes men, you look like you have an epiphany in your face, like, what? People are hurt by my opinion. Why? Because you don't know what the fuck is going on. You in your own head. Like Michael Jackson. Only thing is he kept it a little cuter than Kanye West. But Michael Jackson, he on some other shit with the Neverland and the kids and all that. He on some other shit. And again, I'm not going to say nothing about the assault because I don't know. I haven't never paid attention to that story. And I have never said it wasn't true or no. I I didn't read them. I don't know what the fuck was going on. Maybe I should. Maybe there was some stuff going on. But much like that, and the way that he was genius and what he did and all that other stuff, you didn't understand it, but you loved it, but you sometimes it was questionable, but all that happens here with Kanye. But he don't know how to articulate it because he's out of touch with the reality of the rest of us. He's in his own privileged mental prison. Yeah, he's a bit more advanced and more complex in thought than a lot of people. But he still doesn't know what he doesn't know. And he needs to learn. But yeah, I was going to talk about the Charlemagne interview and all that, but I feel like everybody on YouTube is probably just breaking down those interviews, and I really just kind of wanted to just bring it all back home so that as a community, we can understand more so what the fuck is going on here and what we should take from it. We shouldn't be so quick to cancel Kanye, but appreciate the conversation that it brought. Appreciate that people are thinking and talking within ourselves. We're not arguing with white people. We talking to each other. Notice that. Ain't no white people involved in this. Yeah, the liberal ones is, talking about Kanye, shut up, whatever. Just like the ones that are a little bit more dense in position when it comes to this conversation. But we talking. And fucking, wait a minute. Daz Dillinger, whatever that is in them Crips, fuck you. Because why is George Zimmerman still walking around and Darren Wilson and fucking that lady Betty Shelby and all these bitches? Why they still alive if you can just put hits on fucking high profile people like that? Why the fuck? That better be a lie. That better be a world star lie. Because if it's true, y'all some bitches. What are you gonna do? I'm a civilian. And I'll tell. Anyway, yeah, that's some stupid shit. And then Snoop Dogg. So quick to say fuck Kanye, fuck his music, did y'all say fuck R. Kelly in all these different ways from Sunday? I didn't hear them that vocal about none of these other black men. But you want to say something about Kanye because it's political. And that's that bandwagon fucking groupthink shit that he's talking about. You just jumping on them because that's what people's doing. You don't even know what the fuck's going on, Snoop Dogg. You just be on Instagram more. Don't come for him like that if you went loud and proud with R. Kelly and Bill Cosby and all that other shit, because shut the fuck up. D.L. Hughley, whoever the fuck else want to act. Yeah, but I'm finna get out of here because I'm tired. Thanks for watching again. Make sure you subscribe, share, like, follow us on Instagram at Homegirl Harmonies, podcasts on Google Play and all those other places that I said. The description will be in the bio. Yeah. Leave comments and wait, I'm gonna do that better. No, wait, I'm gonna do this.